in your 30s, like for example now, and then we're like, oh, I love that. I'm going to introduce and spend time with my kid on it. And kind of these things just keep coming back and coming back.
Reloadables, I think, are going to be the way to go, at least to get your feet wet on social commerce and be able to actually see a return on that.
When you're thinking about it, your advice is basically, if you're thinking about getting on social commerce, don't just try to sell the product you have. You might need to adjust your product to fit the model of what would work better to find out. What's good tonight, guys?
I mean, I think we have one option.
Is it a casino?
Try to get Huff and Puff to give you your money back?
Go to the Hard Rock, yeah.
For those that don't know, we tend to go to places near casinos.
What's your preference on Huff and Puff? You know how there's multiple different versions of it?
Yeah, I think Huff and even more Puff, which is the third iteration. That's probably my favorite. The fourth, fifth, all the new ones in the last few months are just not my thing.
All right, guys, let's shoot this thing. We've got social commerce, the next big thing. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
All right, let's shoot this in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the awesome pod where we talk a lot. E-com is the path that we walk a lot. From 4 point of views when we're talking shop. Amir from the agency and Jimmy from SaaS. John has an Android, but give him a pass. Cause he's an operator building brands like a carpenter. And that's Brian, he is the marketer. Like I said, this the awesome pod where we talk a lot. E-com is the path that we walk a lot. From 4 point of views when we're talking shop.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to Awesome Pod, a show about perspective from the eyes of an agency, SaaS, operator, or marketer, focused on the D2C, e-commerce, and retail space. All right, going around the room, I want to introduce everyone. We've got John Roman, the Android-loving survival king. You ready? All right, let's do it. Amir Grostinic, the Prince of Bosnia, Mayor of Chicago. What's good, man? You had a good lunch?
Yeah, it was good.
You like it? Impossible cheesesteak?
Yes.
Not enough cheese, though.
Wait, we got to do a trick like it. I was just kidding. It wasn't impossible. That's why it was so delicious. I remember he did that to us before.
Yeah, he did. He sure did.
Brian McDonald, self-proclaimed funniest dude on LinkedIn. Dude, we're talking your favorite topic in the whole world.
Wait.
I know. You're ready. You've got a lot of spicy things. And my name is Jimmy Kim, the moderator, the brain, the man of the people, and the email dude. Listen, guys, if you're listening to this pod and you want to hear unfiltered takes from us, we've got this website you can jump onto and subscribe to our newsletter, awesomepod.com, designed by Perella over there. It's beautiful. You should come check it out. Secondly, if you want to hang out with us in real life, if you didn't know, Awesome Pod is part of an event company called Commerce Roundtable. We're doing our next event in April 25th in Miami. Check out his shirt. It's giving us thing. If you heard in the last pod, he made a custom one-on-one shirt that he wants to wear around. Yep. He's going to be wearing it around at the event. So if you want to talk to us and you want to hang out and have a picture with Brian, you should come check us out at commerceroundtable.com. All right, guys, today we're talking about social commerce. Brian's favorite topic, the intersection of social media and e-commerce. It's been dubbed the next big thing by some people on the internet, on online shopping. And the question that I really have today is it cracked up to what it's supposed to be? And we're going to dive into social commerce and how it's shaping e-commerce, the opportunities it presents, the challenges it brings, and is it decide if it's truly a game changer or it's just another passing hype. So let's start by defining social commerce. Do you guys really believe that it's a natural evolution of e-commerce? Is it entirely new? Is it something different? What are your thoughts on it? Let's just take a first press on what are your overall thoughts on social commerce? And we'll dive into different parts about it.
I just think it's it's a new evolved channel.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to take over e-commerce. I don't think it's going to take over retail. I just think it's just another sales channel and avenue that brands can attack in order to generate more revenue and attack a different audience. And that's all I see social commerce as.
Do you think it's, when you say it's another channel, do you look at it as like retail being another channel, completely just like Amazon, a separate place where you can just get customers?
Correct.
Got it. What about you, John?
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. I think with certainty, it's not going anywhere. It's going to be a part of the U.S. space. I think anybody who wants to go deep in this, they immediately reference China and how large social commerce is in China, and then they talk about how much of a lagger the U.S. is in comparison. So with certainty, we're a lagger, but there's also a world where it doesn't end up being as big of a part of our space in the U.S. as it is in China.
I know you're big and bullish on live shopping. Do you consider live shopping part of social commerce?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting. What about you, Amir?
Yeah, I see it as, I wouldn't say new channels. Here's the other thing is I think social platforms have been trying to figure out shopping for a while now, and there have been different iterations that failed. I think what's working with this kind of wave of social commerce is that it's pulling in the new generation and teaching them how to shop on social commerce because that's what they're on the most. So definitely a new channel. I think we finally are getting traction with it, but like a lot of people are saying it's a big new thing. I don't say it's a big new thing. I think just has evolved with a good timing with this new generation.
So are you saying essentially when the way you're saying that, basically because there's a new generation of younger individuals that are using social media, this is the way you tap into them as opposed to the typical channels that you might have tapped in the past, right?
Exactly.
Facebook, Meta, they might not respond the same way to social commerce because, well, they're not used to it. They're more used to the typical ads and the typical things that are happening versus the way that people are wanting to buy at that generation.
Exactly.
Right, and we know that generationally, it's much more what Gen Z, what is it now? Gen Alpha, now what's the new one? Gen Beta?
Yeah.
Not Gen Beta. They're too young right now. They were just born like a couple.
They're like a few days old.
But that is what they. You know what I thought it funny about that? Like Gen Alpha sounds really strong. Gen Beta sounds pretty weak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So all right, so let's talk about this. You know, do you think it's all right? So here's the thing, right? Like social commerce is unique in that some people consider discovery and some people call it more transactional. I think there's like two different ways. And when you think about discovery, it's like prospecting, right? You're trying to capture new customers and so forth. And other people just consider it a very transactional channel. How are you guys looking at this? I know you guys are all participating in different ways and capacities, and your clients are probably asking for different integrations. Like, how have you guys seen this? Brian, I'll start with you, man.
Yeah, so this year, actually, as much as I've had my fair share of words on LinkedIn about it, this year, the two pet shows that I am attending, I'm going to be, your stomach just growled, at volume, if on a TV equivalent, 12.
On
must
what
have been a
scale?
good
Like
cheesesteak.
40?
No, like, you know how TV volumes go to 100? 12 is what I put it on at nighttime where you can still hear it but still fall asleep to it.
So you could fall asleep to my growling.
So at the pet shows this year, what I'm working on is trying to develop a new product set that we can essentially use and leverage on social commerce, because the pet food and I would say consumable game on social commerce isn't strong, because for someone to switch their pet's diet, it needs to be a lot more of an educational, longer sales cycle purchase decision than something that, oh, wow, this dog food looks cool, purchase, right? Treats don't do well on there. Food especially doesn't do well on there. But the products that do well on there in my sector are something like chewables, or someone put like bone broth in the consistency of ketchup. And they have it in these like little pouches, almost that look like by our kids, right? But they sell them on social commerce, and they do over like almost $1 million a month on it, right? And that's their whole channel. That's the only product set that they have. But coming up with something like that we can put and leverage on social commerce in a way that it's fit for that channel. And then in return, right, it's like, hey, I want to refill it. Maybe I want to look into their other products, right? There's a little bit of a cross comparison there, because you are dealing with a consumable that's going to run out versus your, cool looking product that's typically seen on something like a TikTok shop or et cetera. So that's my goal this year, is to meet vendors and some different folks in the vitamin supplement space and then in the toy space at the pet shows, and see what we can come up with in-house to create either white label or make ourselves that we can start putting out there and start testing.
Is it a price point issue, you think?
I think it's a price point issue, and I think it's also an entertainment purchase issue, because social commerce is a quick purchase decision based off of an entertainment platform. So someone needs to be entertained, educated, et cetera, in a short amount of time, and the product needs to sort of wow them to a degree. And that's very hard to do with, talking about switching a dog from kibble to raw food, talking about the benefits, and then having them, make that purchase on a high value ticket item. So I think the price is a big play in it. And then also we can call it the virality component behind it as well. The product that looks cool. The influencers are able to make it look cool and make it so that the consumer feels they have to purchase it right now.
Sure, the impulse buy.
An impulse buy, right? And not all products fit under that category.
I'm trying to think of things that I've seen in the pet that I've been targeted with on social commerce. I think I've seen like this ball that like moves by itself like really quickly. I've seen that toy. Dog leashes. I've definitely seen
there's
that.
there's some cool dog leashes out there.
Yeah, I bought one actually because it like split the two
Yes,
into dogs.
yes, you got multi-dog dog
so I
leash.
actually had the problem like they keep tangling themselves because they're not
And
so
these
small.
pivot.
Yeah, and these pivot, and it actually really works really well. And it actually is much funny. I've got a little puppy, and I anchor the older dog to the puppy, so the resistance has loosened for me because now my bigger dog is standing firm ground while the puppy's trying to go wild, right? But it's worked, right?
Yeah.
And that's the example that I saw in that ad. It was demonstrable. It showed me something there, and it made me make the decision.
Yeah.
John, dude, same thing to you. Is it discovery or transaction? You've been selling for a while in social commerce now.
Yeah.
How are you looking at the long tail? I mean, I feel like you should have some data by now.
We do. So we've been selling a little over a year on social commerce. To touch on your point you asked Brian about price point, right?
Yeah.
So we've on our website, which we have thousands of SKUs, our average order values about $120, higher if we're just talking the memberships, but over 100. On social commerce, our average price point is in the low 20s.
Wow.
And we've tested over 100
okay,
products.
so
on there.
I know with the average order value being like 120 is because you guys sell subscription. If you strip the subscription out, what's your average order value of the one time?
Still like high 80s, low 90s.
So that probably is a more comparable number because you're not selling
because you
subscriptions
can't sell
online,
subscriptions
right?
on there.
Okay, so 80 to 20, so it's
still 4x.
Yeah, that's 75% less ultimately. Okay, so but let me ask you that follow up there. Do you think that it's been that people are discovering you, or is it just purely transactional still?
So obviously we a perfect world is it's discovering, right? And they're going to become
That's what you
larger.
want.
That's what
right.
we want. The reality is the entire time and we've treated it in a transactional manner. So we ensure we're profitable on the channel. It's not at a loss because of these members we're going to get later. And then tracking it is not the easiest things. We have a couple ways we track it. We give them free everybody gets it's probably against the terms, but we give them
some drop in something, right? A gift, right?
Yeah. Or pay. Here's our free giveaway.
Yeah.
QR code. So we're able to track that traffic, and then once we track it, we're able to watch that cohort and how they behave. They do a percentage do convert, but it's substantially less. We looked at the last 30 days, a couple days ago actually, and we had 7% over the next year. So we're looking at a cohort from a year ago. 7% of them, and we're talking about a few hundred people, ended up making an additional purchase from us.
So we had 1,000 people you sold at a $20 average. You had 70 of them come back and purchase something roughly. Wow, that's not very good. No. Typically, you see about 30% on the direct-to-consumer site.
Hope, yeah.
So you're missing, a third essentially of the numbers. That's interesting.
So for those reasons, and you've gotten into it, people online about this, is that we have to look at it in a transactional manner for now.
Yeah, you have to be first order profitable.
First order profitable.
Yeah.
And are you guys doing it as an affiliate, or are you guys using the advertising platforms?
For us, affiliate.
Affiliate. Okay.
I'd say affiliate 95%.
And that's you seeding the affiliates.
Yeah. Have you tried advertising?
We have.
Is anything different?
So it's a little bit funky because, we can run our own ads of our own content. But if we're running ads on someone else's whitelisting their content as an affiliate, then we're also having to pay their commissions. So the economics quickly don't make sense.
If it's a $20 average, how much can you pay him?
Right.
$10, $15? I mean, you're losing money at that point, right?
Yeah,
right.
so
And if you're trying to be first order profitable, it's hard.
It's impossible.
Amer, you work with a lot of pretty big, wide range of clients. What are you seeing on the trend of social commerce? Are you seeing them people come to you, talk to you about it, find out ways to optimize for it? What does that look like? I know you work on more of the website and on the on-page side of things.
No, we've done it actually for a while now. So I think the first time we really got into social commerce was with health and beauty brands about 6 years ago. And the way it really started was a lot of brands that are very community driven had Facebook groups, like very established Facebook groups. So the idea was how to like re-engage by giving them, for example, what we would do is we would take like a Facebook Live video, embed it into a page, and then under the page we would add the abilities for people to shop and add to cart. So it was like off of social, but social was kind of used. So what they would do is they would train the audience for, like, example, like for 3 months on Facebook. Then instead of having the Facebook video, they would say, hey, we're still going live, but come here. And then what we would basically give them is a mechanism through Shopify to be able to kind of enable products as they talk about them.
Sure.
And people will shop them, add them to cart. And that was actually worked pretty well for health and beauty brands.
I forgot about Facebook Live and people selling on there. That never really stuck either too much. I know some brands do it, but
the technology wasn't there.
Yeah, maybe it's technology driven.
There's been so many iterations of live attempts over the last 6-7 years.
It's been from SaaS tools and different tools I've seen in the market and different people trying to sell different things. Yeah, never has really stuck, and it's very interesting when you think about it.
Nacelle is here with new AI tech. Read your customers' minds, isn't that the best? Turn browsers into buyers, collect your checks, showcase what they want through the product rec. Not your average, you may also like. Tracks the full customer journey on your site. From click to checkout, getting it right. From click to checkout, day or night. Nacelle makes your store smarter than ever. They personalize lives, isn't that clever? Providing smart segmentation that sells better. Deliver perfect picks to shoppers forever. Yeah. Visit nacelle.com now.
All right, so here's my next question that I think about when we think about people think about social commerce, and I think something people say is it influencer marketing or is it something different? How do you look at that?
Yeah, I would say I would put it under creator marketing, like creator
there's
slash
creator
sales.
marketing, there's influencer marketing, and social commerce. I feel like they're all a little bit different in their own.
Yeah, and there's like a fine line between all of them, and sometimes like I mix them up when I talk about it because I see like TikTok Shop, for an example. I don't necessarily see them being like an influencer because of the fact they work with so many different brands just to make money on that order, on that product, that they're influencing the purchase decision, but they're not influencing the brand, and they're not influencing a relationship between the company that sells the product and the person that's purchasing from them. And I think when we look at like influencers in general, for the most part, they're someone that's aligned with your brand, right? Maybe someone like Brandon at BattleBox is a great example. Someone that was a natural influencer of BattleBox that they found, and they're like, who is this guy? Because he believed in them so much, versus, him working with 45 different knife companies, for an example, and making content as a creator to sell that knife to a consumer. So I think there's like a fine line between both of those. And I feel like social commerce is so infiltrated now with the creator side of it because the only reason they're doing it is to make money. And before it was, we love this product so much that we might as well make some money by working with the brand. And now the only way creators will work with brands selling on TikTok Shop is if there's a high return, high commission, right, and all this sort of stuff. So it's not necessarily that they believe or you even use the product. It's just that the creative is selling it.
John, are you using Brandon as the face, or
so?
What? How are you guys promoting it right now?
So we've done it both ways, right?
Yeah.
So it's influencers, creators in one bucket, and then Brandon in the other bucket. The reality is the algorithm will not treat the two pieces of content the same. If they're us, it's not going to be treated as well as a random person making a subpar video. That subpar video is still going to outperform on the algorithm.
That's wild.
Well, it's them forcing adoption of social commerce.
Yep.
Same reason there were lots of subsidies in 2024.
Yep.
A lot of money. They're trying to force the behavior, and I think that's honestly when it'll be interesting to see if how much of it actually sticks, or if we're always just going to be a lagger, which I think we might not ever be.
Yeah, I think it's always interesting because you said it. We've all said it. Like live shopping's been super popular in Asia for at least a decade at this point.
Yeah.
But we just have not picked up on it, and I still don't think we've truly picked up on it at any mass level. I know you're bullish on live
Well,
shopping.
I just think this is the first year out of
We're
the
gonna
10,
see- we're gonna see real
finally
people.
see some success with it.
Well, what are those apps? What is the whatnot or whatever?
Whatnot.
Loop.
Whoop, yeah. Whoop is not. No, wait.
Wait,
Whoop?
what?
Loop.
Loop.
Yeah. Loup.
Oh, I have.
I've never
I
seen
have
that.
done that.
I've heard of it.
I got a coupon code from PSA for it. And
Yeah,
used
they
it.
work
Yeah.
with PSA.
Yeah, so I've used
That's
It's
a
it.
similar
live
to
shopping
Whatnot.
network.
They're
I've
like a
never-
It's
Whatnot?
identical.
Okay.
Yeah, very similar.
Got it. And then those have started to popularize it a bit more. But what would you like? Do you think about live shopping? This is what I've been trying to figure out with live shopping. This is the biggest thing. Like when you go to TikTok, for example, or you go to any social and you end up on a live shopping thing, it's because you kind of like browsed to it and caught into it. But why would I want to go into an app just to go shop through live shopping? That seems weird. No?
Okay, so why would you want to go on eBay to go buy for stuff?
To go shop
To shop
for a specific thing, though.
for specific things. So within live shopping apps, you have a bunch of different things you can buy.
And it's very niche.
Okay.
Very niche,
So what,
specialized.
like Whatnot, for example, to your point, Whatnot is, man, if you want some sports cards or you want
Collectibles,
some
right?
Disney pens or you want,
Clothes, bag,
yeah, like
Luxury.
it's
It's
very,
pretty wide. It's pretty wide now,
yeah,
isn't
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Rocks. I mean, anything.
yeah, but I don't think Whatnot is that wide.
But it getting wider. I mean,
It's
they
getting
have to
wider, but
attract-
I would
yeah.
say there's maybe 3 niche that take up 80% of the volume on the site.
No, 100% for now is that way. But
So
the difference is what I'm saying, like why you would go on there is, let's say if you're buying something specific or looking for something specific, if you find, let's say sports cards on eBay, you can do an offer potentially. Once you do an offer, you have to wait for somebody to accept it or not, and all of these things, where on there you can have a conversation. And then if somebody doesn't have a card or like whatever, somebody else jumps in. So it kind of becomes more of like, I want to say like a virtual store, mom
yeah,
and pop
there's
store.
a community vibe
Yeah,
that
it's,
exists.
and everybody knows everybody in there. So sometimes you will go, there'll be like 100 spectators. There'll be 100 spectators, and people know each other, what they collect, even
But
if you.
with Drip, they did.
Yeah.
You had the same people that were there every time you went live.
Yeah,
It
they
was a-
would
there's a
bookmark my
community
shows,
aspect.
always come back, come on. People would raid. So, for example, I would have a show, and then I have a bunch of other 10 creators relationships. They're like, okay, let's go to Drip's channel, and they would bring 40, 50 people to me. And
So they would communitize through these
Very
live
So
much
events.
that's, I guess, a missing piece that we were trying to understand is like,
Yeah.
there's a community
There's a
aspect.
community. 'Cause-
somebody.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say somebody would come in and there was like literally asking the chat room like, oh, like is this person good? Like, what can I get here? And you would say, have 20 people give you a live review. Like, oh, you can trust them, super fast shipping, this and that. I had a problem.
Is it just scrolling through really
Yeah,
it's
fast?
fast.
God,
Yeah.
I don't know how people keep up with that. Like, how do you even have a conversation there? It's just you're just shouting into the ether. It's like imagining in real life.
Loud
Like
noises.
John sitting in the thing, and like I could just imagine Brian sitting on the corners just yelling something over and over again. That's what it feels like while you're like,
what
"Hey,
it is.
John, I'm really curious about this," and it's like Brian yelling like "drip, drip,
Yeah.
drip."
Yeah.
Like
And
it's
you know
really annoying.
and it's super cool too. They're like, when you get these people and you start to trust them, they get like very honored if you make them a moderator in your channel. That's a big deal, and they'll kick people out. They'll answer questions for you. So you almost have like these free employees to a degree, but because they want to cultivate that experience in the community.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think consumers too, like they love being sold to. I mean, think about like my mom and grandma watching QVC because they were waiting for something cool to
Is
come
it
on.
a cycle? Like you
You
know,
know?
our parents
They like sat there
Yeah.
not even knowing what they're going to be sold.
watch QVC. We got away from it because we thought QVC was dumb. Gen X likes it, right? Is it just generational that it's occurring? Because everything's in cycles in the world.
Yeah.
Modern day.
Yeah, it's modern day QVC, yeah?
You're going to love this one, Jimmy. Absolutely love it. A lot of people sign in and they'll watch your show for a giveaway. That's how the platform like really built a following. But then they eventually start buying because like nobody's going to sit there for an hour or two watching a show.
I just don't get it.
It's
Like
disgusted.
I don't get I get what giveaways are powerful and yada yada yada, but I just don't get how much people spend time for an opportunity to win something so micro and macro that's usually impossible.
And that's the thing I was going to get to is like, I think when there's like downtown, like with COVID happened, that's where these platforms took off because
They had
everybody
to.
was at home. You couldn't do anything. I think they have contracted since in probably average spend and average user base. But I think there's still people maybe that have these slower paced jobs and things like that, and they just need.
It must be. I mean, I also do recognize that like we're not the average human being or consumer,
Yeah.
and we've got a lot of different thoughts. Like, you know, like that Amazon showed you shared, not Amazon, Netflix show about Amazon. It was like, what is it called?
Buy now.
Buy now. I watched that thing and said, that's just marketing, dude. Like, what's the big deal? Like, why are people shocked by the fact they use data and do split testing against you, but like general consumers like, oh my God, I can't believe they did that to me, right? And then like the same thing to giveaways. Like I know that like I'm skeptical about it because I know the mechanism.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that a friend, not a friend, someone I know, acquaintance I know recently spent $70 on a website and won a car recently. Actually got a car, like a $70,000 car, by doing one of those like giveaway tchotchke things where they're like, if you buy a shirt, you get the points.
He won.
He won and got the car.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, that's real. Like, I actually know a human that's done that. In fact, I'm actually looking at data while we're talking about that. Average live shopping has a $160 AOV versus the average e-commerce site at 108.
Yeah.
That's almost double.
And a lot of people, it's a lot of impulse, like fear of missing out because it's like a limited item or something, and people want to get like really jump on it. The one thing like that's very like interesting to me is when we talk about live shopping, think about QVC.
Yeah.
QVC is immensely powerful, maybe not as much as before. I don't know what their ratings and things are now, but people that stayed at home would have people talk on TV for 30 minutes about one item. They may or not buy it. They'll wait for the next one and the next one and the next one. That's how they pass time.
Think how much higher your AOV would be on BattleBox and almostpride.com if John and I were at every consumer's computer as they were shopping and talking to them and be like, come on, get another knife. Might as well get another knife.
Yeah.
That's the mentality
The
that people have
crowd
on
feeding,
live
right?
shopping, right?
Yeah.
And I saw that when we did on the July 4th where
that's right. You
the
were doing
dunk
it.
tank, right? So we were live streaming
I
all day
remember.
with the dunk tank and our AOV was like almost 3x. That day. Wow. It's like 2.4,
I remember
2.5x that day because it was me in front of the camera for like 8 hours being like, are you kidding me, Carol? Get another turkey heart.
Yeah.
Come on, Carol. Let's get Nina in the tank. Well,
And they're using big
there's no
motivation.
there's no motivation when you're relying on your website to get someone either across the finish line or to put more in their cart.
And bundling live, oh my God. Hey, somebody got hey, by the way, if you want to do this, I'll give you $20 off of this. Oh, you want that? And I'm like, oh, I have that card that hasn't moved in 3 months. I'll throw this in and I'll say it's like $30, $40 off. And they're like, oh my God. And you take somebody from a $50 purchase to $200 in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it just sales, guys?
It is.
Is it just human sales coming back around in a more
fun
mass
way.
mass marketable action almost?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting. Okay, so from that, what you guys have told me, one of the things that's really interesting is it probably doesn't matter how big your brand is.
No. It's
It-
product.
it-
Do you think brand name helps?
No.
well, you've got to build an audience.
Yeah. But I'm
If
saying
you don't have an audience, like, okay, I can be a $500 million company and I'm going to set up a Whatnot account today for the first time and I'm going to go live. Doesn't matter because I don't have an audience.
No, I agree with that. What I'm saying is like when you're setting a brand, I think you can be an effective reseller or creator and be able to get traction really, really quickly if you have great products to sell and the right positioning with it. But I also believe you have to, like you said, be able to sell. You can't be on there and be shy and whatever. Like you have to gauge people, be able to talk and showcase a product.
So there has to be experience, like
It does.
a person who can talk. Yeah,
On
there
live
has-
shopping, yeah.
That's so interesting. I mean, I think like, so I actually believe like, as you guys say this more and more, and I'm thinking about it, social commerce, yeah, we've seen some inkling of it, but it really is live shopping. That is really the future if you think about it in a different way. And you're right. I don't think it's a replacement to e-commerce. It's just a supplement. It's another channel. It's just another place that you can decide, just like going to Amazon or going to just being a meta person and so forth. But the question is, how do you monetize the max out of it? Now, what's interesting is, as I look at this data, social commerce and display in the live shopping has a really high AOV. If you could increase your AOV doing live shopping, you'd have Brandon on that thing going, selling and pitching all day long.
And we're going to start doing that soon.
Yeah. What channel are you going to use? Like what platform?
So we were weighing back and forth. We still haven't made a decision. We're weighing back and forth between Whatnot and TikTok.
Okay.
And the reality is,
Depending when this pod comes out.
depending on when this pod comes up, but also depending on the fact that what I said earlier, if we did Whatnot and we choose to go Whatnot, we'll have to build an audience from scratch.
Yep.
We go to another platform where we have 800,000 or 1 million followers, we already have the audience.
Can't you dual stream and dual things?
So we decided that could be a thing we could do. We would just have to obviously pick items that we have a large enough quantity for. The other thing is, some platforms are super well connected already to our back end, Shopify, ShipStation. Some aren't.
Ah, yes, the technology piece behind that.
Yeah, it's not like, we're a small business, but Brandon's not going to pack that knife up and ship it out, right? It's going to print in the warehouse, and the warehouse team's going to grab it.
1, 2, 3 into the fold. Guess who it is? Omni senders at the door. Tools that'll make your brand break through. Pretty damn awesome, just ask the crew. Trusted by over 125,000, 5,800 reviews, you can count it. Go ahead and try it like Elf on the Shelf. The results you'll get will speak for themselves. Do their best to impress with their SMS. Do their best to address an email address. So forget juggling apps, this ain't a circus. OmniSend was built just for you with a purpose. So what are we doing? Why the delay? Head to omnisend.com today. Hey, yeah.
Here's one that's really overlooked. I don't know if you guys talked about it, but eBay does live shopping now
They
too.
do.
Yep.
They're
I've
really
never seen
pushing it.
Yeah, I get notifications every day.
Yeah. They're really, really pushing it. Problem that I think Whatnot has specifically, and it was the problem was with specific niches. People would go on there, build an audience, and then they would start telling people, follow me on Instagram or go here or go there. And then the 10, 12, 15% that Whatnot would take, they would circumvent that because they would take payments on Venmo or PayPal or whatever.
Isn't that against their terms of service?
It is, but once you build that audience, and then you can shift focus and take, like, there's a few like really large sports car companies that build their following on Whatnot. Whatnot didn't want to give them better terms, and then they just shifted to another platform like eBay where conditions are much more favorable.
But if you're on eBay and you do that, they'll freeze your account.
So wait. He mentioned earlier the community doesn't move that easy. How do you move the community over? It's just
You
by
can't,
saying it?
but that's against policy.
Yeah, it's against, but these companies, once you build a following, we're talking about followings that have got 100,000.
Yeah.
And out of that 100,000, you probably have, let's say, 5 to 10,000 very loyal customers.
Sure.
Once you incentivize them to move over, some have moved over. Whatnot eventually started to get smarter, and then they started to give higher or stores or creators with higher following better terms. So
Yeah, but it was lack of security in the beginning. That's
yeah.
it's just it's
Like,
edge case on the
I never did that. Like I had so many.
it's also against the term.
It is 100%. I had people message me. It's like, hey, I'll give me 10% off and I'll pay you over PayPal or whatever. I was like, no, like I don't want to do that because if it wasn't for Whatnot, I wouldn't have this opportunity.
But if that message got sent on eBay, it would automatically be flagged.
Yeah.
eBay security would review it, and one or both would possibly get their accounts.
But on eBay, to be fair, the way people get around with it, they'll have the same Instagram handle as eBay handle, and people will go on Instagram and they'll do deals with them off of there.
Yeah.
You got me curious. I've never seen eBay live shopping. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I'm an eBay consumer.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
You spend a lot of time on eBay?
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
I'm such a I only go to eBay for like very specialized things. I never go shopping. It's like I need a special car part, and sometimes you can't find them when you go like looking around. eBay always offers.
What's the best place we go for cards, sports cards?
I got these jeans on eBay.
Did you
Did
really?
you? What are they?
Just a brand, and I couldn't find them, so I bought them in person.
So
And
you looked
then-
at the tag number and you went to go find it, right?
Yeah, and SEO wise, the only place I could find them was someone reselling them on eBay.
Yeah.
That's so random. I did learn about the tag of the back. You can actually look at the gene number and stuff a long time ago. Yeah, it makes sense. I've had an eBay account for like 20 years probably at this point, and
Sure.
like I've got a
You just
big
don't
like
use it.
I just don't use it for the same purpose. I'm very transactional. I've never seen live shopping behind it, but I would never fall into that because no one's selling live shopping on a single product, right?
The funny part is in the beginning, eBay was against all this. and then they saw
They've
the
shifted
adoption
because
of
they're
it.
trying to get the young audience, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's clear. One thing that I'm starting to pick up more and more, it's generational.
It is.
It's no longer like about like why you're on these channels. Is because as you're adopting these channels as a business, like you're looking at it as how do you tap into different market segments. You guys mentioned it before, like your last episode, we talked about Tupperware, right? Maybe they just needed to go on live shopping or TikTok shop. You know what I mean? Like they just needed to
could've
get to
solved it.
where the young generations would figure out where this stuff goes into place.
100%.
And it's cyclical too.
Yeah,
Things
it is
repeat.
cyclical. I agree with you. I've always said this about like the world and how like everything works in cycles. And they may not be exactly the same, but there's a cycle in that you can match the cycles that will continue to occur. And eventually over history, you've seen there's a time frame and pattern that allows you to see that this is going to happen, right? It's just like a recession. It's just like anything else that's happening in the world.
The thing is, and you guys are maybe seeing with your kids, the toys and experiences that we grew up with that brought us happiness, these companies start to bring them in like in your 30s, like for example now, and then we're like, oh, I love that. I'm going to go introduce and spend time with my kid on it.
Yep.
And kind of these things just keep coming back and coming
You know,
back.
it's hot. Jinko jeans are hot right now.
Really?
Yeah, super hot. Yeah, very trendy. Jinko jeans. I know. Remember in our 90s?
I didn't know Jinko was still around.
Yeah, they're around.
I mean, like 3 years ago, I don't know if it's still the case too. Like Champion had like blown up. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Champion. Dude, we were on the forefront of that at my brand. Like we did partnerships with Champion back in 2016, 17. And then they started blowing up and they were like, nope, we don't want to do it because all the large companies wanted to start doing brand like Supreme and stuff wanted to do it with them. And suddenly like they were like taking off. But dude, it used to be a Kmart special, 2 for $9.99 type deal back in the day when we were growing up.
Yeah,
it just became cool.
Recharge hoodie you had on yesterday.
Yeah, I love it.
Was it Champion?
Champion.
But when I
hoodie.
was a kid, I was at that phase like, oh, you don't want Champion, you want Nike.
It was the cheap brand that you'd buy at Kmart.
I had some Champion.
Yeah.
But that was just kind of how it is, right? And so everything's cyclical. Everyone who lasts long enough will come back around, Yeah. It's just like Louis Vuitton is a perfect example, as always. Like they were cool, they're uncool, they're cool, they're uncool. I think they're on the cool hype right now, but they're kind of falling down right now. If I remember, they like what's the Birkin bags and what's that company that does
Birkin?
that? Is it Birkin?
Talking about the
Yeah.
bag?
Yeah, I thought it was a different company. I thought it was
Does-
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's like the trend right now, right? So, anyways, all right. Let's finalize this thing here. Let's go to a piece of advice. Your brand, you are thinking about social commerce or to do or not to do it. What kind of advice can you guys give them?
I'm gonna go with what I mean. If you had to bet all my money in my bank account, if my idea was gonna pan out or not, I would say maybe not all of it, but I think this is gonna work. Closed loop, which is a majority of like your TikTok shops of the world out now, are very hard, like John's company's dealing with now, where you have a low customer return rate and then your AOV is low. You don't have to have consumables, but I love reloadables. Reloadables, I think, are going to be the way to go, at least to get your feet wet on social commerce and be able to actually see a return on that. So, for example, what I want to do is it's either going to be the bone broth route, which some folks are going in, or vitamin consumables, right? So, like my kids, we get these Hiya. You ever seen the ads for Hiya? Hiya?
No.
So you buy the bottle, you get like 2 bottles and then the vitamins in it. And then every month they send you a little bag of the vitamins to reload it. So I want to take that same concept on TikTok shop and social commerce and sort of like rig the system where they have to get them reloaded. And in their order, they're going to get a QR that will reload your bag for free with your next purchase at omaspride.com. So now, and if they like the product, because you have to have a good product out there too. So first order profitable, reloadable, so that way it's a good enough product that they want to reload it, and they want to reload it for free on your platform. And now you can track that reorder.
What are you going to reload?
Yeah, no, believe it or not, like the dog chewables and vitamins and stuff are huge.
So if you got like a container or something,
exactly,
that you can disperse it, maybe like pop it out really easy, or like a broth that goes into like a spray that you spray onto it.
Yes.
Yeah, like a capsule or something.
Yes.
I can see that.
Or like if it's like John at BattleBox, like slingshot with slingshot ammo.
Yeah.
And then you get your next bag of ammo for free with your next purchase at battlebox.com.
Specific ammo,
Or
right?
like knife cleaning stuff, something that has to get reloaded.
Interesting. That's a good idea. So when you're thinking about it, your advice is basically, if you're thinking about getting on social commerce, don't just try to sell the product you have. You might need to be more like, you might need to adjust your product to fit the model of what would work better to find out.
For sure.
Okay. What about you?
So I don't think it's just a natural progression of marketing channels. And you were talking about how it's a little confusing, influencer versus creator versus commerce, social commerce. I mean, it's a lot of the same principles. So you're likely already influencer seeding, right? You're already sending out stuff. It's not any different. You're just doing it in a different manner. So I don't think it's. I think you should be doing it anyway.
It's just another channel,
It's just
right?
another channel.
It's just like going to Amazon or going to Walmart.com or any of these other places these days. Yeah.
I don't think. I don't think it's
another
anything special.
channel. Okay, that's interesting. I think being there, right?
Yeah, being there, and you don't have to figure out live shopping right away. Like I think we still have time, and we're probably a year from now, we'll look, and even if live shopping, which I'm bullish on, does really well this year,
it's
a year from now,
very small,
we'll
right?
still we'll still be in the infancy.
Yeah.
Should we quit the pod and just create live shopping channels, guys?
Let's just start doing it now. Throw it on the screen here. We can swipe to the next.
What are we selling? Anything we can find. Any advice here, Amer, as you talk to brands of how to approach this?
I'm like facing brands and seeing that a lot of them haven't adopted it. Is jump in sooner than later. I think the market on that channel is going to get very, very saturated really, really quickly. I think the best profitability is right now. And not just that, is like when you adapt it early, as in TikTok, for example, Shop has been growing. I remember you and I spoke about a year ago, you said, oh my God, their fulfillment is terrible, I think it was. And they fixed it. So there's going to be more tools, and it's easier to grow with the tool, even if you're not like fully invested and you just take a small percentage of everything in there, than to adopt later on, where you might have to hire an agency because there's too much to learn. And the other thing is, just because one product is doing extremely well on specific channels or on your shop, it may not be the same thing on that platform, a social commerce platform. So test all the products and see what sticks, because you might be able to move some stale inventory on this channel where on your store you're not moving.
I can't remember where I saw this. I think it was an X recently, but I read, I couldn't remember what brand this was, but basically they had a hero product that did really well in D2C. They took it to retail like Walmart and different places and did horrible. And they couldn't figure out why. And I was like, well, probably because you had a PDP where you could explain, show it, do the things you had. But when it's sitting on a shelf, for example, you can't, right? What's also interesting, as you say that, you may have products today that don't sell well on a page because they're not demonstrable enough, right? But on live shopping, you can demonstrate, show, and look at it and stuff like that. So maybe that is going to be part of the challenge, is like your channels may be different ways to output different products. It may not be the same hero product, where traditionally D2C, you've got 3, 4, 5 hero products, and that's really all you really sell. Everything else is kind of like accessorize and upsells. Maybe that's what it is.
Workplace 6, why struggle alone? Talk to other founders outside of your home. Communities thrive, so slide open your phone. Help you make strides, sit on top of the throne. Oh, whoa, solve your biggest challenges. Oh, whoa, help your checks and balances. Oh, whoa, this is how I salvage it. This a major key alert, just like DJ Khaled is. Apply for a buck, be a part of the workplace. 6:30, helping on your worst days. Surrounded by 9 figures, not in third place. Take a new direction like Mahomes on reverse plays. Yeah. Join today, workspace6.io. Tell them Awesome sent you.
We are jumping to the game here now. As we continue and wrap this pod up here, we are back with Brian's Buy or Sell. We're back with the host, Brian, the meat guy.
That's right. All right, guys. You ready to play?
Go.
All right. So just to reiterate, this is called Buy or Sell. Okay,
you have to answer with buy or sell.
Buy or sell. And don't get too deep into it, right? If you disagree, Amer, just a bullet point or two. Okay, we don't need to go down this long road. Okay. All right, here we go. Buy or sell. Number 1.
There's not a middle option.
Don't bring me into this.
Number 1, social commerce will replace traditional e-commerce websites within the next decade.
Sell.
Sell.
Sell. That was a bad job on my end. I apologize for making that one.
Would you have ChatGPT do this for you?
No, that was me. that was like ChatGPT. They would never output that. TikTok needs to be purchased by a U.S. tech company. Someone without a tech background should not purchase.
We're gonna preface this. We shot this before the TikTok shop thing. So
let's predict.
Let's predict. Why don't we even predict? Do you guys think it shuts down on the 19th?
Yes.
I'm gonna say no.
I say yes. We're 50-50. This is good.
Wow.
All right. Then the second question: is it gonna get purchased by a U.S. tech company?
Fine tech. I mean, it's
Tech software.
I mean,
It's a big buck.
Walmart is retail as an example.
That's tech.
But they're tech.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
tech.
They have a lot of
Tech.
tech. I buy that.
I think yes. I don't think like a Kevin O'Leary should be buying it with some failed sports owner.
Yeah. Well,
Like they have no business buying it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Everything they touch fails. The guy, the sport,
Mr.
what's his
Wonderful.
name?
I wouldn't say he fails. the guy's
just-
They have a lot of money.
The guy that he's with, the
baseball guy.
Yeah, he flopped that whole and the soccer team. He flopped too.
But he has a lot of money. You can't fail if you have a lot of money.
Yeah, but I don't
No,
know.
you can fail if you have
Wait,
a lot of
who
money.
are we talking about?
The Dodgers, former Dodgers owner.
Yeah, he destroyed the Dodgers and he
Yeah, he
destroyed
destroyed
the
the
soccer
Dodgers,
team.
but he
Yeah.
made a lot of money.
Yeah, so like you shouldn't be touching a tech software.
Man, I'm torn on this. I do think that a tech company should buy it if they buy it, but I wholeheartedly, I've said it over and over, the only thing that's valuable at TikTok is the algorithm. Without the algorithm, who wants it? It's just another
Correct.
Instagram or another, whatever.
Yeah,
I would just mention to that, and I don't know to what extent, but they got some great talent at TikTok too.
Yeah.
Like the acquisition of those
Yeah.
people would be a huge asset too.
All right, here we go. When Meta comes out with a new social commerce rollout, it will dominate and destroy TikTok Shop.
So,
Well, I know because I didn't
Sell.
really like that one. I'm gonna buy it.
well, yeah, you've been bullish, but Meta's tried some stuff and
Sell.
sucked at it.
The generational thing. We just
Generation,
talked
yeah.
about it. Just generationally, they've just not been into it.
So I spoke about Zennials. I think
I saw
they
that post.
might be able to do that, but I don't know. It's tough. It's a 50-50 for me.
Well, if TikTok gets shut down forever, then I'm gonna be right.
Yeah, I know. That's why.
All right, so YouTube will be the most underrated social commerce platform in 2025.
I buy that.
So,
Sell.
I buy it.
so they've had two huge failed iterations of figuring out social commerce.
Have you been using YouTube Shorts lately? It's actually getting better and better every day. The algo is pretty decent these days.
It's gotten better.
Now, I don't know how to integrate buying yet. They do the little buy buttons and stuff like that, and it doesn't really work.
It just doesn't. It doesn't work. It's
Here's-
failed.
Here's a problem for them. They do everything well on that platform except one thing: social.
That's a good one. They do have the little community board thing that I post all the time on.
You're right. It's
I don't
more of a
know
Netflix
it more
experience
Netflix?
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Do you think it needs to be more in your face potentially? Right now, they're trying to like make it cutesy. Like they stick a little logo on the side. Oh, buy this creator. Like, why don't they just freaking put down a banner when you're watching the thing on the bottom? Like, buy this thing right now, and like
So-
you can click on it and you can literally go.
Question for you guys, and I'm just curious because I stand on one side of this. Do you watch YouTube on your mobile more or on your computer?
I actually watch it on my TV.
Yeah, TV and the computer, big screen.
No, I like to watch it. Literally, we don't
Yeah, yeah.
watch regular TV. We watch YouTube.
Yeah.
I consume shorts on my phone, but when
Yes, that too.
all the creators and people that I follow and want to watch their long form video, I watch on my TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here.
My wife and I at night, we don't use stuff anymore. We watch YouTube.
And,
We have our
you-
But not
creators.
YouTube TV. You're talking about YouTube.
YouTube, like actual YouTube, we're watching it, and like we're watching our creators that we like. Sometimes we'll like a topic, and then we'll go dig into that topic and watch things that we like together.
Yeah.
It's great
Yeah.
because these creators are making videos just as good as any other TV show, in my humble opinion, and sometimes they're better.
Now, but the reason I asked that question is, are you gonna buy in your TV?
I don't
No.
even know how.
Like,
I don't even know how to like on my TV.
I'm
Honestly,
bullish on that long term though.
I don't even know how to view a channel. Like, it's so hard to figure out on that.
Yeah.
It's been part of the problem is like when I like something, I just hope the algo picks it up and comes back. But I never see it. Like, it's hard.
it's socially created, but it's not a socially.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're
interact.
right.
I know what you're saying.
Maybe there'll be
it's a
more
fair
live.
point.
There was YouTube Live for a while, and it still exists, but it's not live the same way that we see in the other networks
Yeah.
or channels either.
Yeah.
That's a good debate. I think in the next 6 months we'll know real fast. 'Cause someone's gonna have to replace TikTok if it doesn't work out. So
Someone's gonna have to step up.
yeah, again,
Yeah.
we'll find out in about.
Do you know, I have a question for you guys, given the before this real quick. Do you guys think TikTok won't be banned because we know Meta, when they see an opportunity, they push hard on something, and they've done nothing with this opportunity on the 19th?
Yeah, I mean, there's something to that. I mean, is it that they haven't done anything, or have they just failed so much they don't care anymore and they've moved to AR?
Could be.
Because I feel like Zuck's not into this stuff. That he's more into the future, bigger. Social commerce is one thing, but he's trying to figure out AR right now. He's trying to do Meta. He thinks the future is me wearing glasses, looking at your shirt, and going, "I like that shirt. How much?"
And then buying tickets to the event.
Yeah,
He's
buying
a-
tickets to the event right here on my glasses.
He's a true like innovator.
He's a
and,
true visionary. He's beyond.
And
Social commerce is old.
And he got the chain now, and he grew his hair out a little
Yeah,
bit.
he's starting to become OG gangster.
Is it a perm?
The problem
his new
is
era is
the problem is Meta is still a data-based company, and commerce would be a big.
It would be.
Yeah.
But it's not the revenue driver. They can make plenty of money because nobody can get off that platform for advertising. What do they need more money for? Right now, they're trying to figure out other stuff. All right, let's wrap this thing up, guys. That was great conversation. That's a wrap. Episode 34, social commerce. Now, the next big thing or another hype? I don't know. I think we've all went on other sides. I do think that it's probably more of a channel than anything else. It's starting to make sense more and more every day, especially the generational side. With that, if you enjoyed this pod, like, comment, subscribe, tell us a friend, and let us know what you think. Follow us on social, TikTok, or maybe not, XIG, LinkedIn, YouTube. Just type in Awesome Pod to find us. And make sure you leave us a rating on your favorite podcast streaming platform. Remember, we're video first podcast. So we fly location to location to shoot this together as a team, not only for the dynamics of this pod, but also because we want to create the high quality experience. In fact, we're in a little different setting in the same little room that we just did the last couple pods on, which is really fun. Don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter. It's awesomepod.com. You'll be alerted, given weekly videos just to be alerted, and of course, our hot unfiltered takes. Next week, we'll be back with episode number 35. That's the creators economy, building the brand with influencers. And I think this is going to be a really interesting one because I have a lot of things I think about with the way the creators are kind of changing the world right now. So I'm really excited about that. With that, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you on the next pod. Give them the point.
Welcome to the Awesome Pod, where we talked a lot. Ecom was the path that we walked a lot. But now the question is, will you subscribe or not?